The Bible describes a moment so dramatic, so convincing, that nearly the entire world will accept it as proof that God has spoken. It is found in the book of Revelation, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Revelation 13 verse 13. Fire. From heaven. In the sight of men. Not hidden. Not symbolic. Visible. Public. Undeniable. Imagine global headlines. Imagine religious leaders proclaiming revival. Imagine nations declaring that heaven has confirmed their authority, but prophecy warns that this fire will not be what it appears to be. The greatest miracle the world will witness will become the greatest deception in history. And the most dangerous part? It will look righteous. Tonight we uncover who calls down this fire, why the world believes it, and how you can stand when it happens. Because when that moment arrives, neutrality will not exist. Throughout Scripture, fire from heaven has always been associated with divine authority. In 1 Kings 18, when Elijah stood alone against the prophets of Baal, he prayed, and fire fell from heaven consuming the sacrifice. That fire proved who the true God was. In 2 Chronicles 7 verse 1, when Solomon finished dedicating the temple, fire came down and consumed the offering, and the glory of the Lord filled the house. Fire meant heaven's approval, heaven's presence, heaven's power. So when Revelation predicts fire coming down again, the world will instinctively believe, this is God confirming his church. This is heaven settling the debate. This is divine endorsement. But Revelation 13 reveals something unsettling. The power calling down the fire is not the Lamb. It is a beast power, appearing lamb-like, but speaking like a dragon. The deception will imitate the past acts of God in order to validate a false system of worship. History will repeat, but with a counterfeit. Prophecy reveals that the final deception will climax with a personal impersonation. A solemn warning says, as the crowning act in the great drama of deception, Satan himself will personate Christ. Not merely influence. Not merely inspire. But personate. The warning continues, the enemy will come in to deceive, if possible, the very elect. He will claim to be Christ, and will appear in a manner to deceive many. Imagine a being appearing in dazzling brightness. Speaking words of peace. Performing miracles. Healing diseases. Calling down fire. Another statement declares, he will cause fire to come down from heaven in the sight of men. This is not random. It is calculated. It is strategic. The final deception will revolve around worship. The one who calls down the fire will claim authority over the day of worship. He will declare that those who persist in obedience to God's commandments are resisting heaven. And the majority will believe him. Why? Because the evidence will seem overwhelming. Jesus warned in Matthew 24 verse 24, for there shall arise false Christs, and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Notice, signs and wonders. The final deception will not rely on ignorance. It will rely on miracles. A solemn message says, the last great delusion is soon to open before us. Antichrist is to perform his marvelous works in our sight. Another warns, the line of distinction between professed Christians and the ungodly is now hardly distinguishable. The world is already prepared to believe experience over Scripture. If it feels powerful, it must be God. If it unites churches, it must be revival. If miracles happen, it must be divine. But miracles alone are never proof of truth. Pharaoh's magicians performed signs. False prophets have performed wonders. Even demonic powers can produce supernatural manifestations. The final deception will not look dark and evil. It will look holy. Revelation 13 connects the miracle with enforced worship. The fire is not entertainment. It is enforcement. It creates credibility. Credibility creates influence. Influence creates law. And law demands worship. A warning explains, through two great errors, the immortality of the soul and Sunday sacredness, the enemy will bring the people under his deceptions. When people believe the dead are conscious, spiritual manifestations become convincing. When people accept a man-made institution as sacred, miracles appear to confirm it. Another statement declares, when the leading churches shall unite upon points of doctrine that are held by them in common, and shall influence the state to enforce their decrees, then we may know that the time has come for the marvelous working of Satan. The fire will validate false authority. It will appear to prove that heaven approves religious legislation. Those who refuse compliance will be labeled rebels against God. But obedience to God's commandments will be portrayed as disobedience. The deception will flip reality upside down. If fire falls from heaven, how can anyone resist believing? The answer is not found in watching events. It is found in knowing truth. Isaiah 8 verse 20 declares, "To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them." Scripture, not miracles, is the test. A powerful statement warns, none but those who have fortified the mind with the truths of the Bible will stand through the last great conflict. Not emotions. Not tradition. Not majority opinion. Truth. Another warning says, Satan is working with all power and signs and lying wonders. Notice, lying wonders. The wonders are real. The fire is real. The spectacle is real. But the source is false. Only those who understand prophecy, who cherish obedience, who love truth more than safety, will remain unmoved. When the whole world marvels, a small group will quietly stand. Not because they are stronger, but because they are anchored. The final deception will be brilliant. It will solve crises. It will promise unity. It will appear to bring peace. Fire will descend. Crowds will celebrate. Leaders will proclaim a new spiritual era. But remember this, when Elijah called down fire, it led people back to the commandments of God. The counterfeit fire will lead people away from them. The true Christ does not contradict his word. He does not change his law. He does not validate human authority above divine instruction. The final crisis will not be about whether miracles occur. It will be about worship. Who has authority? Who defines obedience? Who determines truth? A solemn appeal declares, only those who are diligent students of the Scriptures and who have received the love of the truth will be shielded from the powerful delusion. The world is not preparing for persecution. It is preparing for deception. And deception is more dangerous than persecution. Because persecution reveals opposition. Deception hides it. When fire comes down from heaven, when the world says, "This is God," when laws enforce unity. Will you follow the miracle? Or will you follow the word? Because prophecy says the fire will fall, the only question left is the world ready? And more importantly, are you?